Hi guys, welcome back to another video. What do we have today? 2012 Ford Ranger. She had 2.5, I believe, Mazda engine inside in it. And what do we have? We have, when we start it, and it runs, so we have a lot of smoke coming out the back. Someone has diesel and engine oil, 4 new injectors. Thank you, Peter. That's as much as we have on that. We have 178 miles actually, 178,000 miles. Let's get our ball rolling here and see what we're up against. Look, here's the really good bit. We have only 3 modules in it, thank goodness. List. P0303, P0304, misfire 3, misfire 4, exhaust gas recirculation, sensor A, circuit high, intake air, temperature circuit high, mass airflow, low input, P0102. So here are fault codes. This is what we're going to be going after. Battery voltage, electronic control unit, lamp, airbag, warning indicator. Don't really care about any of that stuff. Battery could have been replaced or something. Say it was, looks relatively new, sitting out there. But yet we have a misfire. Why do we have a misfire in cylinder 3 and 4 after we got 4 new injectors in it? I don't know as of yet. What I might do is just use my eyes, my ears for, it sounds like we have compression. Could do a relative compression check. Could just put off the block connector off the 4 injectors and just audibly listen to it. You know, I can't do wide open throttle or anything on these things. What do they call it? Wide open throttle. I haven't a clue what they call it. They can, scanner down can make them not start by doing that, but on a diesel you can't. So here we are. This is what we have. I don't think that EGR is going to cause it to misfire on 2. The EGR valve is stuck open and closer to number 3 and 4 rather than 1, 2, 3 and 4. We'll get in and look and we'll see where we're at. Okay guys, we're just out there pulling in this Ford Ranger. I only drove it in from the gate in. It's running there at this point in time. And then Mr. AC comes to me. Alan Callahan, check out his channel there on Deja Diagnostics. And I know it's noisy there, but maybe I should turn off the car. Actually, I'm going to turn off. Can you freeze that? You can. You're frozen.
Yeah,
now.
I'm frozen. Yeah,
I'm going to give you, because we're going to stall it out. Okay, what Alan and he wanted to do was, he was off on a training course and doing always, Alan's into technology big time. So he was wanting to see what we would see. I was just going to put it in to start and Alan said, hey, let me look at something. So anyway, we have stopped and what he's done is, well, I've just stuck in the back probes in here to our signal wire on our fuel pressure sensor. We've grounded, or at least that's what Alan asked for, the ground of the fuel pressure sensor to be used as well for one channel of his scope. Then he wanted a pico on the actual amp clamp, on number 1 injector. So, do you want to explain what you're looking at, Alan, here?
Well, looking at fuel pressure in blue, really zoomed into it. So I've added a AC coupling to this so we can see. And the red is the amp clamp for injector number 1. And I don't know now, am I 100% right, but what I see is injector number 1 opens and then we have a small drop in fuel pressure. The next one to open here would be number 3, but we even have a bigger drop. And then it rises again, 1, 3, 4, 2, and then back to 1. So I don't know, it's kind of a little bit new to me, but I think injector number 3 could be
gone or faulty or dodgy. And we do have a fault for our misfire on number 3 and number 4. We also have the airflow fault and the EGR fault, but basically anyway what Alan is trying to look at is his fuel pressure, okay? So that's current and our live fuel pressure, and what way an injector opening and sending in fuel is affecting the fuel pressure through the fuel pressure analysis in a bit of detail, correct, Alan?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Kind of. So that's what Alan is at there anyway. At this point in time, we don't know what we see, but we do see 2 injectors that are kind of dropping, but this perk, which we would want to rise probably in pressure once it closes, but yeah, we don't really know what we're looking at. But anyway, we're going in just for a look at that crack, for the buzz. Now, here's my twist on it. While Alan is looking at that, what you have is a cross-reference of thinking and technological, I suppose, attack, etc. And so while Alan is doing that little bit of analysis, what I was doing was, okay, this thing is smoking like crazy, running on 4, this is in my head, but yet it's not driving very well. As I said, you saw it. Right, what I said, right, we have an airflow and an EGR fault. Looked in here, here's my EGR valve, have a pipe coming across the back of the engine, bit of a cooler here, and it's coming in here on number 1 and number 2. That's where my exhaust gas will be entering if the EGR valve is open. And so my reference of could it be getting exhaust gas in close to number 3 and 4 and make that cylinder or those cylinders miss easier than number 1 and 2, I'm saying is potentially wrong. Potentiometer on top of it, it's a vacuum actuated EGR valve. Screwdriver, pulled off the actuator while Alan was doing that. EGR valve looks to be closed to me. Okay, it's drawn up by a vacuum, but it looks closed at this point in time to me, so I don't believe we have that related. Pulled off the airbox, went to give a listen in there with my hand. Could hear a nice solid suck from all 4 cylinders. Okay, so I'm nearly happy enough with that. Didn't do my audible relative compression yet. We might even do it now because Alan has a peek. Well, in a second, just to see what we do if we create faults here with injectors and don't allow the car to start. What I did also do, could I have time enough? I disconnected the cam sensor, see did it affect the car running of it, because that'll control injectors. I got a cam sensor fault, but it didn't make the car run anyway different. I also popped off an air intake pipe here. My turbo is spinning, spooling, or whatever it may be. So we have a turbo not seized, is what I'm saying. But I'm heading fast on a couple of basic mechanical checks, and Alan is going into a bit more detail actually there on his fuel pressure. Okay, we went for lunch and we're back from lunch now. Alan is out of getting sidetracked off on another wagon. So what we're doing is it's just kind of me after jumping back into this thing quite fast, or relatively fast. Now, where I'm at, it starts and it runs with a misfire, but it runs really, really smoky. So it's smoking, I mean, heavy, heavy, heavy. Now, I do know that my turbo is spinning. I do know that I've just done a relative compression test there. Slight little drop in amperage here and a little spike to there, as you can probably see. So, if anything, it's going to be that cylinder. Now, I don't even have a reference waveform to compare what's coming off what. Maybe I should have had the second amp clamp, which is turning around there somewhere, running to I had it on the coil, on the injector there a moment ago, but I just didn't. I just wanted to know what our compression was like. Very easy again, the exhaust that's down here, I thought it could have been blocked. I actually just wrapped out 3 bolts. It was really, really handy to get in it. Power tool there. Exhaust is off. So I have now, well, in theory, we're looking. I know that my throttle flap here is not, I suppose, closing and restricting airflow in. I know that we have, maybe I should be using live data on the scan tool more so. Maybe I should be looking at my airflow numbers and exhaust back pressure. Excuse me, maybe. Anyway, everything that was easy I pulled off timing cover I'm going to go look at the marks. I can see someone has marks in here, Tipex marks, and I can also see that our injectors do look relatively new and clean, but I have a gut feeling this is engine mechanical. I don't know why I feel it's engine mechanical, but I do feel that we could have 2 issues. We have a misfire, which is most likely created by some other ailment, because this thing is that smoky. I don't think the one or the single cylinder misfire is causing my problem. I don't rightly know where I'm going now, but I would, if my guts were telling me anything, I would say we have an engine mechanical issue in there around camshafts and stuff. That's what I would think. Don't maybe believe pistons or any of that direction yet. I just think there's something strange going on here. Whether our camshaft could be after twisting or what, I don't know. We don't have a head gasket gone. I just pulled off the cover while it was running, and we don't have any bubble, so, or blow of water anywhere. So we're not down in compression because of that. But I'm going to keep on digging for a few moments. I'm actually got a ratchet in the socket somewhere just to rotate my engine and see if and what and where we are. Okay guys, in my hunt for what was wrong here, I couldn't find anything wrong. Sent in a bore scope into the intake manifold, etc. Verified our timing marks, verified all the rockers were opening and closing and stuff, and what we done then is, when I didn't find anything, I sent off my 4 injectors to be tested. And lo and behold, man came back and said to me that the injectors were actually in an awful state. Now the last lad had said to me that he had gotten the injectors checked and it wasn't injectors, so hence I wasn't actually I wasn't focusing on this as a primary cause, but lo and behold, we bought 4 new injectors. Okay, now we can put scopes on them, we can see what they're actually doing, we can, you know, do insulation test on them, we can do leak back tests, but none of that is really comprehensive enough. So with injectors, what I normally do, just be sure, because we could have a nozzle down here slightly blocked or some of that crack, I send him in to get tested. It's the fastest, the easiest and the most comprehensive way of figuring out if these are good or bad. He condemned all 4, so we have 4 of these to go. Bosch injectors to go into this thing. I'm going to slap them into it, put my couple of bits and pieces that I have sitting here back together and see what happens. Okay guys, I have my rocker cover reinstated. I have the 4 injectors sat back into place. What I'm going to do, just to prime this thing and get fuel into it, I don't know if any of you've ever gotten caught on this, but on Mercedes, for definite, we've gotten caught with it, and there is a bulletin on Diagnose Dan's about it, leaving the actual injectors disconnected. I think it's on piezo. I don't actually know what's in this, whether they're piezo or they're solenoid injectors, but I'm going to crank it with the injectors disconnected so we don't send any or give any control to the injectors, and hopefully pump is going to be rotating, sending fuel up. I have that injector, steel injector pipe or whatever you want to call it, loose, and I'm going to crank it to try and get diesel perforating out here. Once I have that coming, at that stage then I'll reinstate or connect on my 4 injectors. Seemingly on the Mercedes, they actually, the needle and nozzles kind of stick into place if they're not lubricated by diesel, if you have them cranking for an extended period of time. So I'm going to crank them without any control to get fuel here, and then at that stage we'll connect back on, and yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, she'll fire up and or go. Okay guys, apologies, I've kind of ran away with my stuff. I started cranking. We can see well, I can see it, but maybe you can't on camera, with a cloud of smoke. We have a check engine light on, which we have. You can see the smoke. Can you see the smoke? Come on now. Anyway. Yeah, you can see it there. Whew. Okay, we're back. Just noticed something a little bit strange there on the door open light. Now, that noise, I did disconnect the exhaust to make sure we had a turbo free and able to rotate and or turn, so that noise is because of me creating problems there. But anyway, our injectors are fixed. This yoke, I believe, that was not running like that prior. This is yeah, due to being busy again, as we always are, there's a bit of time out of passing, so there's a week or two where this thing was left there and just abandon ship and roll on because I didn't come up with an answer fast. Whether I can blame, can't blame anyone. Just didn't have an answer. Starting to get late and just wanted to get it together and get it back for the customer. But yeah, she's up, she's running. I think we're done. We'll get a couple of miles, get the exhaust bolt back together, get a couple of miles on this thing, see where we stand maybe tomorrow. Scan tool on it, clear faults, etc., and just make sure that we're game ball and ready to get going. Probably have code injectors, etc., and stuff like that, which I'll have a look when I have a scan tool in. Okay guys, we are back together, up and running. I'm actually out on the road for a test drive. I was going to say that every time you click into this now, because I don't have Wi-Fi right now and I'm out of the workshop, I don't have topology, but we have only 1, 2, 3 modules. Just make you smile because it's so much easier, isn't it, with only 3 modules. Anyway, some fella in his fanciness believed it was going to be good to give us 50 or 60 of them or whatever it may be. Anyway, hey hoo. Right, we had in here, I had a fault for some kind of a transmission shifty thing or disengage crack, but just to show that we are back up running, check engine lights. Power back as expected. So whippy-doo, we are back. My phone is ringing there now, and I'm hoping that it doesn't affect. Sometimes it does break my audio, but I'm hoping not. Yeah, for this one, lads, I don't know where do we start, where do we go, what do we say on it? Too warm. No matter what happens, you just cannot go on someone else's guidance. So this yoke, as I said, came into me with the injectors have been checked and they're perfect. Okay, so at that point in time, when Alan decided to go to fancy side and I decided to go to basic, is my turbo spinning, have I exhaust blocked, all that kind of stuff. Look, I don't know. The attack process was probably hunting down something else being wrong, but like an intake manifold maybe being blocked or something along those lines. Mightn't make for a great video because it did break. We worked on it, we stopped. It was 2 weeks or so past, and then I said I'm going to get these injectors because they were out in to be checked because it was at other stuff. Yeah, look, it's injectors. Straight bang, minute we turn the key, we're back up, we're back right. Probably could have, I don't know, as I said, Alan was on the Pico, so I don't know that he saved waveforms. I probably didn't record a lot of his stuff. I didn't probably even record a lot of stuff on my side of it, but simplistic enough. Running bad, 2.5, 2012 Ford Ranger, and injectors were the primary cause of it. Get them out, get them in, and I don't mind what anyone says. You really can't tell if piezo or solenoid injectors are leaving in the correct amount of fuel. Electronically, they might be working. Idealistically, it looks perfect, but fuel not getting in. The only way to do it is get them off and into a diesel engineer. So for this one, guys, close it up, and yeah, please like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next cartoon. Peter Kennedy signing out. Thanks for watching, lads.